So, hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. We are starting our new series of workshop with Oracle experts. Like our organization, Tech for Impact NGO, is working with women entrepreneurs and startups in Uzbekistan, and we're very happy to provide knowledge from Oracle experts to our participants. Спасибо большое всем, кто сегодня подключился. Мы начинаем серию вебинаров совместно с компанией Oracle. Это международная IT-компания, у которой большой опыт по разным сферам. И сегодня наш первый семинар по продажам. Кто с нами в первый раз, мы проводим эти мероприятия от нашего ННО Tech for Impact для женщин-предпринимателей, для стартапов, для начинающих предпринимателей. Сегодня семинар по продажам. Our speaker today is Christian Obando. Christian, thank you for joining us. So we know that you have great experience in sales, like in Europe, and you work with Oracle, and you worked with Tesla and other like famous now companies that everybody's talking about. So thank you for sharing with us your knowledge. And like after short translation, the floor is to you.
Assalomu alaykum hammaga. Bugun sizlar bilan Tech for Impact nodavlat notijorat tashkiloti tomonidan Oracle kompaniyasi bilan hamkorlikda o'tkazilayotgan tadbirkor ayollar, startup loyihachi ishtirokchilari va umuman savdoga aloqasi bor insonlar uchun tashkillangan treninglar, mashg'ulotlarni boshlanishi bilan sizlarni xush kelibsizlar deb qolamiz. Ushbu mashg'ulotimizda sizlar bilan Oracle kompaniyasida savdolar bo'yicha mutaxassisi Christian Obando sizlarga o'zini bilimlarini ulashadi va savdolar bo'yicha turli xil maslahatlar beradi. Shuningdek, o'zini qayerlarda ishlaganini aytadigan bo'lsak, juda ham mashhur tashkilotlarda, masalan, Tesla va shunga o'xshagan texnika bilan bog'liq, hozir esa Oracle kompaniyasida mana dunyoga mashhur kompaniyalardan biri hisoblanadi, o'z faoliyatini olib boradi.
Thank you, Barno. Christian, please. Floor is yours.
Should I start? Okay. Yeah. Should I share my screen with the presentation? Give me 1 second. So now everyone hopefully sees my presentation.
Yes, we can see.
Excellent. Good. So yeah, hello everyone. It's great to be here today and to get the chance speaking to all of you. I had the chance to learn a little bit about who you are, about what you are doing, and without knowing too much about it, without knowing too much about details and so on, I can tell you that I'm very impressed what I've seen so far and heard so far about you.
Assalomu alaykum hammaga. Bu darsni boshlashdan oldin sizlar bilan biroz tanishishga harakat qildim va nimani qiziqasizlar, qanday faoliyatlar bilan shug'ullansizlar, bularni o'rganib chiqdim va menga bu juda ham yoqdi, sizlarning qilayotgan ishlaringiz.
And I hope that by talking about what is sales and how sales actually works, I can contribute at least a little bit to your own success and help you hopefully also to turn as many of your plans and great ideas as possible into reality.
Sizlarning faoliyatingizda savdolarni o'rni borligini bilaman va bu dars orqali sizlarga savdolarni yaxshilashga, iloji boricha va uni kengaytirishga yordam beradi degan umiddaman.
So what can we expect from, or what can you expect from me today? I will talk a little bit about the meaning of sales in general, and afterwards I will dive into the various types of sales and selling and walk you through a process, what we also call the 7-step sales process.
Bugun sizlar bilan nimalar haqida gaplashamiz? Ya'ni biz savdoni nimaligini va savdoni qanaqa turlari borligini, shuningdek sotishni qanaqa turlari borligini va sotish jarayonini 7 ta bosqichi bilan tanishib o'tamiz va oxirida savollaringizga javob beraman.
So sales refers usually to the exchange of a product, right? A product can be a car, it can be a commodity can be oil, it can be gas or gold also, a service offering catering services as an example, or delivery that can be a logistical services for money. Important to note here is that sales is always the exchange of something for money.
Savdo deganda nimani tushunamiz? Savdo deganda biz qandaydir bir mahsulotni, bu mahsulot deganda masalan neft bo'lishi mumkin yoki qandaydir bir kiyim-kechak shunga o'xshagan turli xil mahsulot bo'lishi mumkin va xizmatlar. Xizmat deganda biz masalan mehmonxona xizmati yoki restoranlar shunga o'xshagan xizmatlarni pulga almashish mumkin bo'lgan faoliyatga aytamiz.
And it involves helping prospective clients or customers by listening to them and understanding their wants and needs to find them what they are looking for. If you listen to the needs of someone, for example, living in the Sahara, you most likely find out that the needs of that person, the need of that person is not an umbrella or winter clothes, but rather a sun protection or an air conditioning. So it's always important that you understand what people want and what they need.
Savdoga asosan nima kiradi? Savdoga asosan mijozlarni tushunish kiradi. Chunki agar siz mijozingizni tushunmasangiz, uni nima xohlayotganligini, unga nima kerakligini bilmasangiz, siz savdoni amalga oshira olmaysiz. Masalan, cho'lda yashaydigan insonga yomg'irda ishlatiladigan soyabonda shunga o'xshagan narsani sotish, yomg'ir uchun kerakli bo'lgan narsani sotish bu mazmunga ega emas. Ya'ni bu insonga quyoshdan himoya qiladigan vosita kerak. Soyabonda aynan quyoshga kerakligini yoki maxsus bir kremlar, shunlarni tavsiya qilishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Ya'ni uni ehtiyojidan kelib chiqqan holda.
And besides understanding the needs of your customers, you also need to be convinced of what you want to sell. You need to be convinced of your business idea, of your plans, of your products, and so forth. Because if you don't fully stand behind your product or service, it will be very difficult to convince your potential customer of buying from you.
Savdoni 90%ni qattiq ishontirish tashkil etar ekan, ya'ni 10%ni ham unga jalb qilish. Bu deganda biz, ya'ni siz sotayotgan narsangizga o'zingiz ishonishingiz kerak va uni yaxshiligiga boshqalarni ham ishontira olishingiz kerak.
So when thinking of sales types, there are 6 different types which come to my mind. And you will see that most of these 6 sales types are possible options for you, depending on the business ideas. But let's have a closer look and see what types are available and what possible examples could also look like.
Savdoda turlari haqida o'ylaganimizda 6 ta turi xayolimizga keladi. Endi hozir bu turlarni bittadan ko'rib chiqamiz. Qaysi biri qanaqaligini.
So inside sales, for example, is a very common form of sales today, and in my opinion, it will be even more relevant in future. Inside sales is basically the practice of selling remotely, most of the time from a office-based environment. But why is it so popular? It is so popular because it enables you to reach a large group of potential customers by using communication tools such as email, phone, social media like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook Marketplace, LinkedIn, and so on.
Birinchi turi, savdoni birinchi turi bu ichki savdo. Bu turda ofisda o'tirgan holda savdo qilish mumkin bo'ladi. Ya'ni email orqali takliflar jo'natib, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter shunga o'xshagan ijtimoiy tarmoqlar orqali o'zingizga mijozlarni topib ishlashingiz mumkin ekan. Oxirgi kunlarda bu savdo turi juda ham mashhur bo'lib ketyapti. Boshqa turlarga nisbatan ko'proq auditoriyani qamrab olish xususiyatiga ega.
And I heard that one of you is actually a farmer who wants to open a recreation area for tourists. And in order to sell this idea and find potential guests for this recreation area, it probably makes sense to use an inside sales approach and use communication channels such as email or social media, simply because the potential customer base is possibly spread across different countries.
Sizlarda oranglarda fermerlik faoliyati bilan shug'ullanadigan va turistik makonga aylantirmoqchi bo'lgan tadbirkorimiz bor ekan, bu insonga maslahat berardim shu savdo turini foydalanib ko'rishga. Chunki sizni mijozingiz, ya'ni sizni xizmatingizga, mahsulotingizga qiziqqan inson dunyo bo'yicha tarqalgan bo'lishi mumkin. Shuning uchun bu savdo turidan foydalanish sizga juda ham yordam berishi mumkin.
And outside sales or opposite of inside sales refers to the sales of products or services by sales personnel that physically go out into the field to meet with prospective customers. They often travel to meet customers face to face, as well as to maintain relationships with their existing customers.
Tashqi savdo bu ya'ni savdo xodimini tashqarida yurib mijozlari bilan yuzma-yuz uchrashgan holda ularga o'zini mahsulotini, xizmatini taklif qilib sotish usuliga aytilar ekan.
And I heard also about you can see I studied a little bit about your business ideas and I heard that one of your plans to sell purified water for B2B clients in a small city nearby. And without knowing too much about it, I would probably suggest to use a rather outside sales approach and try to meet as many of these potential clients as possible physically. Why? Simply because they are probably located in the same city.
Sizlarda bizneslar bilan tanish jarayonida bitta biznesni ko'rdim, ya'ni tozalangan suvni aholiga sotish biznesi. Bu biznesda shu savdo turi juda ham qo'l kelar ekan, ya'ni sizni suvingizni sotib oladigan mijozlar o'sha atrofda yashaydi va bittama-bitta ular bilan gaplashib, tashqi savdoni qo'llash sizga juda ham foydali bo'lishi mumkin.
So B2B sales stands for business to business and means that you sell to companies, right? And B2C stands for business to consumers and means that you sell to clients like you and I. Looking at the various business ideas, what I've seen so far from you, probably both B2B and B2C are applicable methods.
B2B savdoyimizda biz biznesga sotadi mahsulotini. Ya'ni siz tashkilot bo'lsangiz, xuddi boshqacha tashkilotga mahsulotingizni sotasiz. B2C savdolarda bo'lsa, bu biznesni mijozlarga, insonlarga, tashkilot bo'lmagan oddiy insonlarga sotish biznesiga aytiladi.
Agency sales again refers to the sales of your products or services through an agency. Coming back to the example with the recreation area, if you want to find new clients abroad, as an example, right, it might be an option to work together with tourist agencies, which are again specialized on these type of recreation holidays.
Agentlar orqali sotish usuliga keladigan bo'lsak, bu usul ko'proq masalan chet davlatlarga, masalan dunyo bo'yicha mijozni jalb qilmoqchi bo'lgan korxonalarga to'g'ri kelishi mumkin. Masalan, turistik firmalar bilan shartnoma qilgan holda ular orqali o'zingizni mahsulotingizni, xizmatingizni sotsangiz sizga osonroq bo'ladi.
E-commerce sales again is a form of sales which becomes more and more popular. Why? Because more and more people get access to the internet and more people see the benefits of ordering products online rather than going somewhere and buy them in a shop.
Elektron tijorat savdosi oxirgi paytda juda ham mashhur bo'lib ketyapti. Ya'ni uydan chiqmagan holda, uyimizda internetni ishlatgan holda mahsulotlarni sotib olish turi.
And e-commerce can be also very attractive for the seller, right? For the salesperson, for you, because you don't need to care about a shop to sell your products or employees who sell it for you. You can easily sell your products or services online to a larger group of customers, whether they are in your own region or maybe somewhere abroad in completely different countries.
Bu savdo juda ham qulayligi shundaki, siz dunyoni butunlay boshqa burchaklariga ham bemalol mahsulotni sotishingiz mumkin va bunda siz ortiqcha xarajat qilmaysiz, ya'ni magazin binosini jihozlash, unga egalik qilish, uyda o'tirgan holda kompyuter orqali savdoni bemalol amalga oshirish mumkin.
I saw that one of you produces clothes for home and sleep, including women's underwear, and plans to expand the business. I think it was to Europe. Think of an e-commerce solution, right? Which would enable you to widen your reach and at the same time increase your opportunities to sell your products.
Oilalarda kiyim-kechaklarni Yevropaga eksport qilmoqchi bo'lgan tadbirkorimiz bor ekan, ularga maslahat berardim. Shu usulda qo'llagan holda elektron tijorat orqali savdoni amalga oshirishini.
So we just learned what types of sales is available, meaning through which distribution channel you would or you want to sell your products or services. But evenly important is the type of selling. That means, how am I actually approaching my potential customers?
Endi savdo turlari haqida gapirdik. Endi savdoni qanday qilib amalga oshirish turlari haqida ham gaplashib o'tamiz. Qanday qilib unga biz yondashyapmiz.
And in this context, I would like to focus on the first two methods, the transactional selling and the solution selling.
Sizlar bilan hozir tranzaksion sotuv va yechimli sotuv haqida gaplashib o'tamiz.
So let's have a closer look what transactional selling is and how this can be translated to some of your business ideas. So transactional selling is focused on today's transaction and not on future sales. Usually it is a one-time purchase.
Tranzaksion savdolar bu hozirgi e'tiborini qaratgan savdolar ekan. Bu kelajakni hisobga olmaydi va bir martalik savdolarni o'z ichiga oladi.
An important criteria for transactional sales is actually the price or discounts, which often helps you to close deals faster. So transactional sales is also mostly used in a B2C environment. That means when you sell to private customers and not necessarily to companies or business customers.
Tranzaksion sotuvni o'ziga yarasha jihati shundaki, bunda narx bo'yicha qandaydir imtiyozlar berilgan holda, uni narxini pasaytirgan holda mijozlarga, ya'ni biznesga emas, ya'ni iste'molchiga, mijozlarga sotishda qo'llanilishi.
So possible examples for a transactional sales can be, for example, buying a house or a car. And one of you has the idea to produce, for example, handmade textile bags, right? This is a good example also for a transactional sales, as it is usually a one-time purchase where the price plays a very important role.
Masalan, uyni, mashinani yoki ishlab chiqarilgan mahsulotimizni bir marta sotishni hisobga oladigan bo'lsak, bu yerda narx bilan uni qanchalik foizi juda ham muhim ahamiyatga ega.
And solution selling again focuses on building a clear understanding of your customers' needs and developing a solution that solves usually their problems. It is a long-term method which is focused on building relationships with your customers, with the buyer for the future. It focuses on providing the value of the product. Price is not the most important criteria. It is more about building long-term relationships with the customer.
Yechimlik savdo haqida gapiradigan bo'lsak, tranzaksion savdodan farqi shundaki, masalan, tranzaksion bir marta amalga oshirilsa va uni narxi birinchi o'rinda muhim jihat sifatida aytilsa, bunda mijozlar bilan uzoq muddatli aloqani o'rnatib olishga qaratilar ekan. Asosiy e'tiborimiz, asosiy jihati, ya'ni mijozlarga kerakli bo'lgan mahsulotni, ularning muammosini, yechimini taklif qilishimiz ekan.
One of you plans to launch a drinking water purification and delivery project, I learned. And this is also a very good example for solution sales, right? By offering purified water, which can be delivered to these people, you help them to solve a problem. And the problem is that people don't have access to purified and clean water, and you help them to overcome this problem.
Tozalangan suvni mijozlarga yetkazib berish xizmatini yo'lga qo'ymoqchi bo'lgan biznes xuddi shu savdoga to'g'ri keladi, ya'ni u insonlarni muammosini hal qilyapti va shu orqali savdoni amalga oshiryapti.
So we are slowly but surely approaching the end of this presentation, but before I close it off, I would like to talk a little bit about what we call the 7 steps sales process.
Darsimiz oxiriga yaqinlashib boryapti va sizlar bilan hozir savdoni 7 bosqichi haqida gaplashib o'tamiz.
So why is this important to know? Why is this 7-step sales process important? It is important because if you want to be successful with selling your product or your service, you need to have a clear plan and a clear idea about the different steps you are taking.
Agar siz o'zingizni biznesingizda muvaffaqiyatga erishmoqchi bo'lsangiz, sizni aniq rejangiz va aniq g'oyangiz bo'lishi kerak. Bu asosiy shartlaridan biri.
So before you start selling your product or service, you need to get a clear idea about your prospects, right? That's all about prospecting. You need to know, to whom do I want to sell my product, my service? Who should be my target audience?
Prospecting deganda biz qidiruv ishlarini tushunamiz. Ya'ni mijozimizni kimga sotayotganimizni, qanday odamga sotayotganimizni biz o'zimiz yaxshi tushunishimiz kerak. Bu savdoni birinchi sharti hisoblanadi. Asosiy bosqichlardan biri.
One of you wants to sell carpets to tourists. So what you need to understand in this example is where to find these tourists, how to reach these tourists, how many tourists are potentially available. Are we talking about maybe 5,000 tourists traveling per year to the region, or are we talking about 50,000 or maybe 500,000? You need to know what is my possible potential here for my product.
Oramizda gilom savdosi bilan, ya'ni sayohatchilarga gilomni sotmoqchi bo'lgan tadbirkorimiz bor ekan. Bu tadbirkor shu narsani bilish kerakki, tadbirkor nimalar, sayohatchilar qayerda bo'ladi? Siz ya'ni sotmoqchi bo'lgan segment qayerda bo'ladi va uni qanday qilib topishingiz mumkin? Qanday qilib ularga yetib borishingiz mumkin? Shuni o'rganishingiz kerak.
And once you know it, you can start preparing for the sales. That's the part where you need to do basically your homework. You need to do research on your prospects. You need to get familiar with the potential buyers. You need to understand what are the requirements for me to sell my products. How can I deliver my products to my customers, and so on.
Siz mijozlaringizni qayerdaligini bilib olganingizdan keyin savdoda amalga oshirishga tayyorgarlik ko'rishingiz kerak bo'ladi. Ya'ni mijozlarim qayerda, nima qilyapti, ularga nima kerak, shu kabi izlanishlarni olib borishingiz kerak, o'rganishingiz kerak.
And in the next step, what we call approach, you start to establish rapport with your potential customers. So that means you start introducing your business idea or your product to the customers. You explain why you want to do business with them. You should also ask a lot of questions which help you in the end to better understand the actual needs of your clients, and you can then better respond to it.
Keyingi bosqichimizda biz mijozlarga qanday qilib mahsulotimiz haqida xabar beramiz, qanday qilib ular bilan muomala qilamiz, qanaqa savollar orqali ularga o'z mahsulotimizni haqida ma'lumot berishimiz mumkin. Shularni o'rganib chiqishimiz kerak.
And once you approach your customers and got actually a better understanding of their needs, you present your idea, your product or your service to them. And this can be in form, let's say, in form of a presentation. You can share samples with your product clients. You can send, for example, samples to them. You can send them written information and so on. There are various possibilities how you demonstrate your product to your customers. But it needs to be in a way that customers, potential customers, get excited about your products. Then you can win the trust of your customers.
Keyingi bosqichda biz ya'ni taqdimot o'tkazishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Mijozlarning ehtiyojini bilib bo'ldik, ularni o'rganib bo'ldik, tayyorgarliklar ko'rib, keyin mahsulotimizni ularga ko'rsatishimiz kerak. Bunda biz qandaydir namunani ularga jo'natishimiz mumkin yoki mahsulotimiz haqida qandaydir yozma ma'lumotnoma. Buni juda ham turlari ko'p. Shu bosqich orqali sizlar mahsulotingiz bilan mijozni tanishtirasiz.
Yeah, objections are unfortunately often part of the sales process, and typical objections could be that your price is simply too expensive, or your product is simply too expensive, or it is not needed because your customers, they have maybe already similar products already. So you need to be aware of these objections, and you need to understand how to respond to them.
Keyingi bosqichda biz e'tirozlarga duch kelishimiz mumkin va bu e'tirozlarga oldindan tayyor bo'lishimiz kerak. Ya'ni mijozlar aytishi mumkinki, mahsulotingiz juda qimmat ekan yoki bu mahsulot kerak emas, boshqa yerda ko'rganman, uni olib bo'lganman. Shu kabi savollarga oldindan o'zingizni tayyorlab olishingiz kerak.
If a customer, for example, tells you that your product is too expensive, you need to know how to respond to it and explain why you ask for a specific price. And usually there is a reason for it, but you need to be able to explain it to your customers so that you can handle and you can soften the objections.
Endi masalan sizga nimaga mahsulotingiz o'ta qimmat degan savolni berib qolsa, siz bu savolga oldindan javobingiz tayyor bo'lish kerak. Ya'ni qanday xususiyatlarga ko'ra siz mahsulotingizga shu narxda belgilaganligingizni isbotlay olishingiz kerak.
So looking at the last two steps of this 7-step sales process, I would say they are probably the nicest ones. Once you convince the customer of your product or service, you start with the closing of the deal by agreeing on the terms of the sales. What is the quantity? So how many of my products I will send to the customer? What is the actual price? When does your customer wants to receive the goods, and so on. So this needs to be agreed upon, and then you can move on.
Savdoni esta bosqichining oxirgi ikkita bosqichiga yetib kelyapmiz. Ya'ni siz savdoni amalga oshirdingiz, mijoz bilan shartnomalar tuzasiz va bu yerda siz mahsulotni narxlari, qancha miqdorda sotib olishi va qanday yetkazilishi shu bo'yicha savollarni kelishib olasiz.
And many sales people actually make a big mistake by not following up on the sales. They often simply stop once they sold the product and it disappears, right? But this can be a big mistake, because if you want to establish a long-lasting relationship with your customers and you want your customers to start trusting you and coming back to you and start buying more from you, you need to give them the feeling that you care about them and that you are there not just to take the order, but you're above this. You are able, you're willing to support your customers.
Savdo amalga oshirilgandan keyin ko'pchilik savdogarlar xatoga yo'l qo'yishadi, ya'ni mijoz bilan bog'lanmaydi ular. Muhim jihatlardan biri savdoni mijozlar bilan uzoq muddatli aloqalarni o'rnatish. Ya'ni mijozlar sizga ishonishi kerak va sizning mahsulotingizga, sizni unga qo'shimcha beradigan maslahatlaringizga o'zini yaqin tutish kerak. Bu holatda siz savdoni uzoq muddat amalga oshirish xususiyatiga ega bo'lasiz.
So the follow-up is a very important part of assuring simply customer satisfaction. It's very important to retain customers and prospecting of new customers. And this might mean sending, for example, a thank you card or thank you note to your customers. You could call your customers to make sure they receive the products what they ordered. You can check in with your customers and simply ask how they are doing and so on. But you give them the feeling that you care about them.
Mijozlarga siz ular haqida g'amxo'rlik qilishni ko'rsata olishingiz kerak. Bu savdodagi eng asosiy jihatlardan biri. Ya'ni siz ularga bayramlarda qandaydir xatlar jo'natishingiz mumkin, tabriknoma turidagi yoki qandaydir shunga o'xshash bir o'rtada aloqani ushlab turadigan usullarni qo'llash orqali siz savdoyingizni doimiy ravishda amalga oshirilishini va savdo ko'lamini oshirishga erishasiz.
So with this in mind, I would like to close off my presentation now, and I hope that I could tell you some tips and tricks also for your various businesses. And if you have if you have questions, of course, it's time to ask now, and I'm happy to answer all of your questions.
Shu bilan taqdimotimiz oxiriga yetdi. Sizlarga o'zingizlarda biznes loyihalar bo'yicha kerakli maslahatlarni bera olgan bo'lsam, bundan juda ham xursand bo'laman. Bemalol savollar bilan murojaat qilishingiz mumkin hozir.
Thank you, Christian. You know everything about our projects, so great to hear. Thank you for that. But now we have some questions in Uzbek, like in the beginning, 2 questions in Uzbek. Could you please help with translating them? Thank you. Айсулу и еще потом.
First question. Айсулу. Yeah. Now I see it. Let me check it. How can we start? How can we attract the clients at the beginning of our business, which is more fruitful for us at the same time and for the customers? It's a question of Aysulu.
Let me see the question in the chat. Or can you repeat the question?
Yeah. How to attract the clients at the beginning of the business, so it can be both fruitful for the business owner and the customer at the same time.
How can you attract possible customers? Yeah, I believe there are different ways of attracting customers. It's about presenting, demonstrating your either business idea or your product. You can share samples with possible clients. You can invite customers. Let's say you're more active in the area of handcrafts or things like that. You have a workshop, for example. You can invite customers, potential customers, let them feel the products, right? So that you get what we also call this emotional feeling and experience, emotional experience about certain products, that you give access to these products. That's a possibility, of course, depending on where your customers are, if they're regionally, or of course if they are, let's say, abroad. It would be then more in terms of, for example, you send them potential samples, or you can send them information about it.
Savdoni boshida sizni mijozlaringiz qayerdaligiga qaragan holda, masalan, mijozlaringiz chet davlatlarda yoki o'zimizni yurtimizda bo'lishi mumkin. Shunga bog'liq bo'lgan holda mahsulotingizni ko'rsata olishga harakat qilishingiz kerak bo'ladi. Ya'ni prezentatsiya qilish, uni namoyish qilib berishingiz kerak. Buning uchun siz mahsulotingizni namunalarini jo'natishingiz kerak bo'ladi yoki qandaydir bir tadbir uyushtirib turib, odamlarni chaqirib turib, taklif qilib, sizni mahsulotingizni ushlab ko'rib, uni qandayligini his qilib, nimaligini tushunib yetish bo'yicha ularga qandaydir tajriba faoliyatini ko'rsatishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. We'll go into next questions. Tushunarli bo'ldimi, Aysul? How can we find distributors in foreign countries for our products? Malika Jalilova is asking.
So, yeah, of course, one very common form of or source for information is, of course, simply the internet. where you can find for specific distributors. You could probably go via Chamber of Commerces. Almost every country has a Chamber of Commerce in the respective other countries, like representatives. That's a possibility that you work together with them and say, listen, I would like to get an overview of possible distributors for agricultural products, as an example, right? So that you get lists of potential distributors, and then you can start approaching them.
Malika, sizni qishloq xo'jalik mahsulotlaringizga, masalan, quritilgan mevalarida distributorlarni topish uchun internetdan foydalanishingiz mumkin va har bitta davlatda savdo sanoat palatasi bo'ladi. Bular savdoga yordam berishadi. Shularga murojaat qilish orqali ham topishingiz mumkin. Va eng asosiysi qidirish. Bu internet hozir juda katta imkoniyatlarni beradi. O'tirib yozib qidirishingiz kerak. Next question. Tushunarli bo'ldi, Malika? Keyingi savollar. Do we need to sell offer to the service to aggressive customers? The first question. The first question from Indira Abdullaeva. Do we need to sell?
Can I read my question for myself,
yeah,
please?
she can speak English.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, Christian.
Hello.
It's great honor to talk to you today, and we've been expecting it actually. Your today's presentation. The question is that we have a small business actually that is IT. We can say we can offer robotics services to children aged 7 to 14. But the question is that quite often, like, parents come and they are quite aggressive. And when we explain them our service, how we work, what we do, and trying to explain the values that we are offering them, they try to ignore. They try to show themselves a little bit. I mean, like, is it okay to offer some service, or is it okay to not to sell them?
Well, in the end of the day, of course, you decide to whom you want to sell, right? It's an interesting question. I'm not sure if I ever came across really aggressive customers, right? That's something.
I'm quite negative, I mean.
Say it again, sorry?
Negative, quite
so sorry,
negative.
Quite negative.
Quite
They come with
negative,
negative attitude, yes.
Yeah, or negative, okay, with kind of maybe negative attitude and so on. I think what is, or what I would propose, what I would suggest is try to get the chance to present your idea, your solution to them, right? And not maybe necessarily going into this discussion with the mindset, okay, I need to sell this now, right? I need to make the sale today. I would maybe think in smaller steps, and the first step would be, I want to demonstrate, I want to share my idea with these potential customers in order to win their trust first, right? And once you won their trust, and once they're willing maybe to listen to you, to listen to your ideas, then the next steps, maybe the second or the third step, is then about talking about a possible sales of the product. So don't just maybe have this, I have to sell it now in mind, but first try to win the trust of the customer. That would be that's what I would do.
Savdo bo'ldi, ya'ni mijozlarda biroz o'zini qandaydir agressiv, jahldoroq tutishlari, ya'ni savdo jarayonida sizga kelib mahsulotingiz bo'yicha sizga ishonchsizlik bildirib nima qilganda, murojaat qilganda qanday muomala qilishimiz kerak deb so'radilar. Ya'ni burada birinchi bergan maslahatlari, siz xayolingizda birinchi avvalambor sotishni emas, ya'ni uni muammosiga yechim taklif eta olayotganingizni ko'rsata olishingiz kerak va albatta birinchi o'rinda mijozni ishonchini qozonishingiz kerak. Va ikkinchi, uchinchi bosqichdagina kelgan ishonchni qozon bo'lganingizdan keyin savdoda amalga oshirishga harakat qilishingiz kerak bo'ladi. There is another question from Indira in the chat, I think. Yeah.
So sorry, I've got lots of questions for you today, Kristian. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
The next question is that, so the business is quite small, I can say, like roughly 8 or 7 teachers we have, and capacity is 150 students, we can say. So basically, the sales, we don't have a sales department, so manager is in charge of it. And right now I'm thinking whether we need this sales department or there is no need to open up sales department. How can I understand that we are ready to open up sales department, recruiting right people, and like giving them particular like measurements and tasks? And I mean, like, is this necessary, and how can I understand it?
I would probably say that it depends very much on the complexity of your company, complexity of the product you want to sell, right? Is it something, is it a high quantity you want to sell? Is it a large audience of potential clients you want to approach? Then it would be probably wise to have at least a dedicated person who is really looking after the sales and who is specialized also in sales, because in the end of the day, it's about selling your product. You do all these things because you want to sell something to someone. That's like the big goal here, right? And whether you have one person who is dedicated to that, or you have a maybe smaller sales department with a couple of people, I would say that depends more on the really complexity and quantity and so on. But without any doubt, I would say you would need at least someone who is really taking care specifically about this whole sales process and focuses on this part.
Savol berdilar, ya'ni xizmat sohasida savdo bo'limini o'zlarining faoliyatlaridan kelib chiqqan holda bo'lishi shartmi? Qanday uni savdo bo'limini kerakligini tushunib olishimiz mumkin? Ya'ni bularda holatida 100 taga yaqin o'quvchilari va 7 ta 8 ta o'qituvchilari bor ekan. Bunday holatda bular xizmatni sotishyapti. Qanday bilishim mumkin dedilar. Javob shundan iborat bo'ldiki, buni holatdan kelib chiqqan holda albatta savdo bo'limini bitta odamlar yoki qandaydir o'sha faoliyat bilangina shug'ullanadigan, faqat savdoni rag'batlantirishga faoliyati yo'naltirilgan odam albatta foydali bo'ladi. Buni faqat xarajatlardan albatta kelib chiqqan holda, hisoblagan holda qilinishi, amalga oshirilishi kerak.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Third question.
Yeah, of course. How to recruit right people for sales department and any indicators to measure their performance. That's the next one, right?
Yes.
That's a good one. Yeah, how to recruit right salespeople. That's something I'm trying to do on a regular basis. That's part of my job also, finding the right people. That's a important and also sometimes difficult part. My recommendation here is you need to find people with the right attitude. So people who are really willing to learn, people who are willing to invest their time into it, people who are willing to try everything to be successful, right? That's something that's very much related to the attitude of people. So that's for me one very important part. The other one is finding people who feel accountable, right? People you can trust, right? If there's someone, let's say you hire someone and you want this person to contact 50 people, 50 customers per day, you ask this person to do this because you feel that's necessary, that's important to be successful. You need to be able to trust that person, to rely on that person, and not thinking, okay, I want this person to do 50 calls or talk to 50 people per day, but in the end, this person does not care and maybe only contacts 10 people instead of 50. So you need to find people who show this, what we often call sense of urgency.
Bu juda ham qiziqarli savol. Masalan, o'zlari ham o'sha sohada, ya'ni savdo bilan shug'ullanadigan kadrlarni axtarish bilan ko'p duch kelar ekanlar ishlari faoliyati davomida. Bunda asosiy e'tibor shunga qaratilish kerak ekanki, ya'ni to'g'ri savdo uchun, savdo bo'limi uchun to'g'ri xodimni tanlash, ya'ni bunda u odam savdoga bo'lgan munosabati to'g'ri bo'lishi kerak, o'zini vaqtini shunga sarflashga, odamlarning ehtiyojlarini, og'riqli nuqtalarini o'rganishga xohishi bo'lishi kerak. Va albatta siz bu insonga ishonishingiz kerak. Siz ishongan odam sizni korxonangizni boshqalarga taqdim qilyapti, taqdimot qilyapti va uni qanday taqdimot qilishi sizni faoliyatingizga to'g'ridan to'g'ri ta'sir qiladi. Agar 50 ta odamga murojaat qilgan desangiz, u 10 ta odamga murojaat qilib ishimni qilib bo'ldim deb o'ylab tursa, bu to'g'ri odam bo'lmaydi, sizga kerakli bo'lgan.
And maybe here to complete this one, to finish that this question, in terms of performance indicators to measure the performance. I mean, there's a long list of different key performance indicators what you can use. It also depends what you want to achieve. But to give you maybe few examples, let's say you want to attract new business, new customers, right? You're maybe in the beginning of this whole project of your company and so on, and you need to win new customers in order to sell your product, your services, in order to grow your customer base, right? So possible indicators could be, let's say you have a salesperson and say, okay, one performance indicator is that you set 10 customer meetings per week as a indicator, what you can clearly measure, right? You can tell your salesperson, okay, I want you to make 100 phone calls or send 100 emails per week to the customers. And then you can see also, okay, has this been done, achieved or not? Or you can of course, simply the number of new customers. You can ask your salesperson, okay, my expectation to you is that you win 2 new customers per week. And that's your goal. That's how I measure you, right? That defines whether we are or whether you are successful or not. So there's a long list of different, what we call key performance indicators, but of course, very much depending what you want to, in the end, achieve.
Bunday masalan yana turli xil masalan xodimni foydalilik ko'rsatkichlarini ro'yxati juda ham katta ekan, lekin bitta ikkita misol keltiradigan bo'lsak, siz xodimga aytishingiz mumkin, masalan 10 ta mijozlar bilan uchrashuvni tashkil qiling yoki 1000 ta odamlarga murojaat qiling, gaplashing nimani hafta davomida deb aytishingiz mumkin, yoki aytishingiz mumkinki hafta davomida yangi korxonamizga faoliyatimizga kelib qo'shilgan mijoz ikkitasi masalan seni ko'rsatkich hisoblanadi bu xodim uchun deyishingiz mumkin. Turli xil ko'rsatkichlarni belgilash orqali siz shu xodimni faoliyatini samaraliligini belgilab olishingiz kerak mumkin bo'ladi o'zingizga.
Does this answer your questions or?
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Exactly, very precise points, clear and understandable. Thank you.
Great. Any more?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. I have 2 questions in my chat from Nyotolan and Gulbano. They have project on hydroponics. So it's like growing plants without soil, very interesting system. So their first question is, you talked in the beginning about selling via social media. Could you please like give more details how to present your company like respectably and to create like trust in with your clients, how to present your company in social media for the startup?
Yeah, I guess that in terms of social media, there are different social media channels. Also here, depending a little bit on the region. I must admit, I'm not fully up to date what are the social media channels, kind of the typical channels in your region. But to give you like known examples are Instagram or Facebook Marketplace, LinkedIn, and so on. I guess that's first of all a possibility where you can promote your business, right? You can talk about your business, you can show images about your products, you can show or share videos about your products. What is always great, whether it is like that you sell big products or services or big projects, or it is a small one, what is always good when you have a reference, right? When you have also maybe other customers like testimonials who can say something good about your product. That's always very powerful, because then people see, okay, yes, this is something that has quality, or it can be trustful, right? They see that also other people, they buy your product and they are happy. So this is something, coming back to this Instagram. Imagine you have an Instagram page where you are promoting your business idea, your product, and maybe you have some posts or videos, testimonials of your customers also, what you share on your Instagram account, so that other people can see it, can read it, and so on, and get a better feeling. So that would be one idea that pops to my mind spontaneously.
Elektron savdolar haqida gapirganda, masalan, har bitta davlatda bu narsa har xil nimada tarmog'ida amalga oshirilishi mumkin. Masalan, O'zbekistonda Telegram urf-odat bo'lsa, chet ellarda Instagram, Facebook marketplace'larida savdoda amalga oshiriladi, LinkedIn'larda, va o'zingizni mahsulotingizni qayerda, kimga sotmoqchiligingizni aniqlab olgandan keyin mijozlarda nimalarni, xulosalarini, ya'ni sizni mahsulotingiz haqidagi taassurotlarini yozib borib, u yerda ko'rsata olsangiz, sizga bu juda ham ijobiy ta'sir qiladi savdoyingizga. Masalan, Instagramda sizni mahsulotingizni bir necha rasmlarini va ular turlarini qo'ygan holda, unga bog'liq tagida suhbatlar va sizni mahsulotingiz haqida ijobiy fikrlar, bular juda ham sizga foydali.
And another possibility could be LinkedIn also, right? Again, depending a little bit on the region, there are regions or countries where LinkedIn is popular, but there are also countries where LinkedIn is not really a very powerful tool. But imagine you would use LinkedIn in order to approach new potential clients. You could check simply in LinkedIn, okay, who are possible companies, B2B clients, for example, who would be in need of such a I forgot the name, but the soil what you are producing, right? To see, okay, who are potential clients first of all. Then you have a list of possible companies you maybe want to talk to and present your product. And then once you have these names of companies, and that's part of this whole prospecting, you need to see, where are my potential customers? Then you can start approaching them easily, for example, via LinkedIn, right? You send them a message through LinkedIn and you tell them a little bit about your product, your solution. Maybe you can send them a link where they find more information, or you have a video in general. And it doesn't matter whether it's now about the recreation tourist idea what one of you has, or purified water, or this soil. When you have a video about your whole business idea, that's something that can be very powerful in general, because everyone loves to watch videos. It's easy to kind of digest. You don't have to read a lot and so on. You can watch a video from your mobile phone. You can watch a video from your laptop, everywhere. So everyone likes to watch videos, right? That's why people are constantly watching YouTube and so on, non-stop TikTok and so on. That's very popular. People like to get information via video. So that would be one how should I say, tip or recommendation to all of you. Think about producing a nice video about your ideas, so you can share this with everyone you want.
Sizga yana maslahatlarga qo'shimcha qiladigan bo'lsam, dedilar, LinkedInni tavsiya qilardim. Ya'ni masalan, qishloq xo'jalik sohasi bo'lsa, xuddi shu sohaga aloqador insonlarga to'g'ridan-to'g'ri o'zingizni taklifingizni jo'natishingiz mumkin. Taklifni jo'natganda siz mahsulotingiz rasmini yoki uni videosini olgan holda qanday qilib faoliyatingizni olib borasiz yoki qanday qilib mahsulotingiz ishlaydi, shuni ko'rsatgan holda chiroyli video olsangiz, bu odamlarga yaxshiroq ta'sir qiladi. Chunki hozirgi kunda hammamiz bilamiz, TikToklar, YouTubelar urf bo'lgan va bu orqali odamlar ko'proq ma'lumot olishyapti va ko'proq murojaat qilishyapti. Bu tarmoqlarga shu sababli siz ham shulardan foydalanib, chiroyli video olib, odamlarga aytib bering o'zingiz mahsulotingiz haqida.
Yeah, sorry, that was my mistake. I sent the message to everybody, not to direct. As usual, my apologies. And so those hydroponics project, Nutella, they have another question, if possible. So they have like device, it's hardware device, like with sensors and stuff like that. And they have a question, they want to patent that device. And regarding sales, what do you recommend? You should approach customers before patenting or like after or in the process. So what do you think?
I would probably, and I must admit, I don't have too much experience when it comes to patenting. I did it once in my life. Actually, I'm the proud owner of one patent, but I'm not a very experienced person in that. My recommendation here would be to first take care of that part, make sure your business idea is in a way safe and no one else comes and say, oh, it's a great idea. And then they find out there's no patent and they will start copying it, right? I would probably first make sure there's no danger here. And then I would start the next steps and would start approaching people, customers and take the next steps.
Savol bo'ldi, ya'ni mahsulotni yangi mahsulot, ya'ni hech qayerda yo'q mahsulot ishlab chiqarganda birinchi patent olib keyin sotish kerakmi yo sotishni boshlab ko'rib mijozlarni o'rganib turib keyin patent olishga harakat qilish kerakmi degan savol bo'ldi. Bular maslahat berdilarki, o'zlarining tajribalaridan kelib chiqqan holda, ya'ni albatta sizni mahsulotingizni kimdir bilib qolsa, patenti yo'qligini u sizdan ko'chirib olishi mumkin va o'zi ishlab chiqarishi mumkin. Shuning uchun o'zingizni himoyalagan holda keyin savdoga harakat qilsangiz yaxshi bo'ladi dedilar.
Gulban, ну, у вас вопрос?
Assalomu alaykum. Menda savol bor edi. Avvalambor ko'rib turganman, xursandman. Endi meni savolim shundan iboratki, bizlarniki gidroponika bo'yicha bo'lsa, endi bizlar o'zimdan kelishni aytadigan bo'lsam, gidroponikaning turli xillari bor. Endi bizlar gullar bo'yicha ishlaydigan bo'lsak, agarda ularni gulni tez yetkazib berishni hozir tug'ilgan kunlar, boshqa bayramlarda juda ham живой gullar sotish kerak bo'ladi. Endi bizlar qanaqa maslahat berasiz bunda? Gullarni tez yetirish bo'yicha texnologiyasini sotaylik yoki gullarni tez yetirib o'zim shundan foydalanib, ko'p gullarni tarqatish bo'yicha shug'ullanaylik. Qaysi biri, masalan, maslahatingizda aylantirishning birinchi texnologiyasi sotgan ma'qulmi yoki texnologiyadan kelib chiqqan mahsulotmi? Javobcha oldinroq.
As far as I understand, there are two types of they were too concerned on their business selling. So the first one is how to deliver their products. They are focused on growing the flowers on hydroponic, using the hydroponics. And so the first question is, should we focus on the delivery and increase the sales, or should we focus on technologies, how to better grow flowers in using the hydroponics? Which one is better in our case?
So just from my understanding, the solution is it how to produce this sort of soil, or is it like actually the end product? So you sell this kind of soil, just for me to better understand.
Savolingizga qo'shimcha qilsangiz, masalan, texnikani rivojlantirib gidroponikani yetishtirishga ko'proq e'tibor beray deyapsizmi yo savdoni tezlashtirishgami? Savolga aniqlik kiritib bersangiz.
Masalan, bizlar bularni tez yetishtirib berish bo'yicha texnologiya bizlarda bor. Endi birinchi bizlar texnologiyani sotganimiz ma'qulmi yoki texnologiyani ishlab chiqarilgan tovarnimi?
Ha, bo'ldi. Tushunarli bo'ldi, rahmat. They want to ask, they have a technology, how to grow flowers fast. Should they focus on selling this technology or should they focus on selling the product which comes after that, which is flowers, which is better in their case?
Yeah, that's I'm thinking it's without, I probably would need to have a little bit more insights about it. So first of all, you can always do both, right? The one thing does not exclude the other thing. You can have a service which would be more like a service, selling the possibility to produce then this kind, or to produce faster flowers. So this kind of that would be a service what you're selling to companies. So that's something you could do alongside selling the end product, right? That's something depends very much on the product itself, on the margin, on the potential profit, of course, you also have. I don't know how profitable it is to sell this end product and how profitable it is actually to sell the solution. I would probably guess it's the second one. So selling the solution, the service to, for example, companies, enabling them to grow faster flowers. Here in the Netherlands, there are lots of companies, they're growing, they're producing flowers, right? As an example, approaching some of these companies and say, listen, we have a fantastic solution that enables you to let your flowers grow faster. So that's probably something I would focus on. I can imagine it is also easier from a distribution point of view. I can imagine selling flowers. First of all, you need to plant all these flowers. I don't know how complex it is, but you need to have space where you plant your flowers. Then you need to start selling them, distributing them, shipping them, exporting them. That's quite a big project. But if you sell the technology, the service, actually, that could be easier, and in the end, it could bring you more revenue. But to be honest, I would need to find to understand it better. I'm happy to look into this offline or separate from this call, of course. But that would be now my spontaneous answer.
Bu savolga javob berish uchun bu loyihani yaxshiroq o'rganib chiqish kerak bo'ladi, lekin boshida aytib o'tdilarki, ikkalasini ham harakat qilib ko'rish mumkin, lekin ko'proq o'zlarini fikr bo'yicha, ya'ni mahsulotni qanday yetishtirish usulini, g'oyani, ya'ni gidroponikani sotish bularga qulayroq bo'lsa kerak. Chunki gul yetishtirib chiqqanda uni atrofida ko'proq faoliyat amalga oshiriladi va bu qo'shimcha yana xarajatlarni keltirib chiqadi va buni hammasi hisobga oshirilgan holda amalga oshirilishi kerak. Masalan, bular gidroponikani gul yetishtiruvchilarga oldiga borib, shu mahsulotimizni sotamiz deb taklif qilishlari mumkin. Bu usuli osonroq va ko'proq daromad keltirishi mumkin deyilyapti. Lekin aniq javob berish uchun albatta bu loyiha bo'yicha alohida o'tirib yana ham yaxshiroq tanish kerak va o'shandagina aniq bir javobni aytish mumkin. Rahmat. Javob tushunarli bo'ldi? Eshitilmayapti. Da.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We have a question from Rifkat. I think they're opening a hostel, and maybe I don't understand the question. How to assure people? Rifkat, can you please elaborate? What do you mean by assure? Like, if we don't previous experience. So it's a question a lot of our startups ask. So if I don't have experience in business, if I'm just starting, I do not have like a lot of recommendations or whatever, and how to make people believe. I think that's the question.
How to build the mutual understanding, among customers and sellers,
Убеждать, how to.
So how to find customers, how to convince people.
How to convince, thank you.
How to convince.
So basically how to promote your business idea, also how to find then potential customers for your hostel also. Yeah, this is one possibility is certainly here also social media. That would come to my mind, because if I, let's say, if I would travel to your region, and I would love to do it, because I read a little bit about where you live, where you are, and so on. Sounds extremely exciting. So if I would travel there, and let's say I'm a hostel tourist, I would check the internet, right? That would be the first thing, probably. I would see what is available in your region, right? So it is important that you have a good internet internet platform for your business, for your hostel, in that sense, so people can find you. I don't know where this hostel would be exactly. Let's say it's in Tashkent. I would go as a tourist and I check, okay, what are possible hostels in Tashkent, and you need to make sure that your hostel appears on the first page when you enter this in the internet, and then you can immediately attract people. And also here then it is important to get reviews, references, and so on. So basically other people testifying, confirming that it is a great place to stay. That's the best promotion you can do, right? You can tell to people, I have the best hotel or hostel, the most beautiful hostel and the cleanest hostel. But if it comes from other people, if other people testify, yes, that's a great place to be, that's how you can attract more people. So what I would probably do, I would focus on a strong internet presence, because that's simply the way how you can attract and how you can reach most people, not just in your direct neighborhood or same city. So I can imagine you want to attract people from other countries, from abroad, also from a wider region. That's the way how you would do it. That's my recommendation here.
Mehmonxona savdosida mana savol bo'ldi, odamlarga qanday qilib ishontirishimiz mumkin, mahsulotimizga qanday qilib jalb qilishimiz mumkin degan savol bo'ldi. Javoblari shundan iboratki, ya'ni siz internetda o'zingizni ko'rinishingizni yaxshilashingiz kerak. Ya'ni odamlar masalan faqatgina siz o'zingizni atrofingizdagi mijozlarga e'tiborda qaratmasligingiz kerak va kengroq sohani odamlardan, boshqa davlatdagi odamlarga ham yetib borish uchun, ya'ni ular Google'da axtaradi. Qayerga boraman, mehmonxona yoki hostel deb axtarganda siz harakat qilingki, sizni mehmonxonangiz ro'yxatda birinchi o'rinda chiqsin. Va albatta hozirgi kunda masalan ko'p odamlar kimga ishonadi? Siz o'zingiz sahifangizda reklama qilganingizdan ko'ra siz haqingizda boshqa insonlar, ya'ni sizni mijozlaringiz yozgan taassurotlariga ishonishadi. Hozirgi kunda dunyo bo'yicha mehmonxona biznesi bilan shug'ullanuvchi tadbirkorlar shunga qattiq e'tibor berishyapti. Masalan TripAdvisor, shunga o'xshagan saytlar orqali ular o'zini mijozlarini iltimos qilishadi, biz haqinglardagi yaxshimi yomonmi taassurotlar yozinglar, va bu taassurotlar ko'proq mijozlarni olib kelishga va bu mehmonxona haqida ishonchli bir taassurot paydo bo'lishiga olib keladi.
And also here maybe to add here the follow up, when you remember the 7-step sales process, following up, that's so important. And also in this example, imagine you have guests, you have your first guest for a hotel, follow up with them, make sure that you stay in contact with them and ask them also for something in return. Ask them, do you know what, if you like to stay here last weekend in my place, in my hostel, can you make sure that you leave a quick review? Can you make sure that you spread the word, that you talk about it to other people also? So you start building relationships, and then you can also ask people to do you do a favor to you. That's very important in that case, and that's probably a good example why following up is so critical.
7 savdoni 7 bosqichi haqida gaplashib o'tdik va bu oxirgi bosqichda, ya'ni mijozlar bilan uzoq muddatli aloqalarni o'rnatish edi. Shu holat bu yerda juda ham qo'l keladi, mos keladi bu jarayonga, ya'ni mijozlarni siz haqingizdagi xizmatingiz haqingizdagi taassurotlari, bulardan iltimos qilib, men haqimda yozib qo'yinglar deb aytsangiz, yana ham yangi xaridorlarni jalb qilishga bu narsa yordam beradi.
Thanks a lot. Do we have other questions? Если у нас еще вопросы, несколько минут осталось, там буквально 5 минут до конца семинара. Если есть вопросы, пожалуйста, задавайте.
Savollaringiz bo'lsa, bir necha daqiqamiz bor, bemalol so'rashinglar mumkin.
I actually might have a question, if that's okay. So just when you talked about social media and asking for a favor in return. So I know that a lot of companies also work together with influencers, for example. So would you recommend to work with influencers or other people to advertise for your company or for your hostel in this case? And then also when we're already talking about influencers, I think on Facebook, when you, for example, promote a product, usually you see a lot of positive comments, and sometimes people are being paid to leave positive comments. Like, do you have an opinion on that? And would you recommend to work with influencers or even pay people to leave positive comments and advertise for you?
I would certainly recommend working with influencers. That can be very powerful, because again, here depends on how should I say, powerful, or what's the impact on the influencers, how many followers they again have, and so on. That's of course important, but usually they are able to influence a large group of people. So the possibility to scale through one person and reach in the end a lot of people is very powerful with influencers. So that's absolutely something I would also work with, to find out, okay, who are possible influencers, invite them, let them stay for free for a weekend, let them experience the place, and ask them in return, for example, to write a story, a blog about the hoster. That's definitely an idea. What I would also pursue. The other question, whether I would work with kind of paid reviews, probably not necessarily, because I feel like if you really invest in real promoting also your business idea, if you follow up, if you make sure that you're close to your clients, to your potential clients, if you give your clients the feeling, the certainty also that you care, then you should be able to get hopefully enough of these positive reviews also. So paying for reviews wouldn't probably be my preferred method.
I'm not sure.
Savol bo'ldi, yani. Should I translate it?
Yeah, please.
Savol bo'ldi, ya'ni mijozlarga ta'sir ko'rsatuvchi odamlar, mana influencerlar deyilyapti, bularga odamlar orqali reklama qilishni aytsa bo'ladi. Shu usul haqida nima deysiz deb savol berishdi va ikki savollarning ikkinchi qismi shundan iborat ediki, ba'zida yaxshi haligi fikr qoldiruvchi, taassurot qoldiruvchi iltimos qilsangiz birortasini pulga sotib olishadi feedbackda deb aytib o'tdilar. Mana ya'ni bunga javoblari shundan iborat bo'ldiki, ya'ni influenserlarda qancha odamlarga ma'lumoti yetib boradi. Masalan, qandaydir bir mashhur odamga siz iltimos qildingiz, siz reklama berishdi. Shuncha qancha odam u odamga ishonadi va u odamni qanchasi kuzatib boradi ijtimoiy tarmoqlarda. Shunga bog'liq bu narsa. Bu juda ham yaxshi usullardan hisoblanadi. Faoliyatingizga qaragan holda mos kelsa bemalol foydalanishingiz mumkin. Lekin biroz qarshiman dedilar. Ikkinchi usul, ya'ni pulga odamlarni yaxshi taassurotini, yaxshi fikrini sotib olish. Siz agar faoliyatingizni yaxshi yuritsangiz, bunga hojat bo'lmaydi. Albatta, mijozlaringiz bilan o'rtangizda yaxshi muomalani o'rnatib olsangiz, bu odam sizga yo'q demasa kerak, albatta. Undan iltimos qilsangiz, sizni faoliyatingiz haqida biror narsani yozib yoki fikrini qoldirishni iltimos qilsangiz.
And we have another question from Malika in the chat. Could you please look up? Pardon. The last one.
In selling the products for experts in terms of agricultural products, is it important to call them to give them personal calls, or to speak with them one-to-one in one-to-one meetings?
It would be B2, potential customers would be companies, right? Business customers, I think, right? In that case,
yeah, it's a called chain products, I think. Called chain products, expert agricultural products.
Yeah, I think it's companies. It's B2B.
Which option is better? Meeting with the clients, the potential customers, or calling them?
Well, also here depends a little bit where they are, right? If they would be in direct, if they would be close to your place where you are, if there's a possibility to meet them physically, face to face, it's certainly not a disadvantage. But if you want to reach a larger group of potential clients, I would definitely start calling them, but not just necessarily calling them. There are different ways, and the best is to kind of surround your customers. Send them an email, call them, send them a video message, use LinkedIn, send them an email, or maybe you have social media presence, right? You can reach your customer through that. That's usually powerful if you use a variety of different communication tools or communication channels in order to reach your customers. That's usually the most powerful and most successful way of approaching your customers.
I missed some parts, but I try to interpret anyway. Mijozlar bilan muloqotga kirganda siz mijozlaringiz masalan uzoqda bo'lishi mumkin. Shuning uchun hamma usullardan foydalanib ko'rishingiz mumkin. Faqatgina telefon yo ko'rish orqaligina emas, email orqali, xat orqali chiqib, taklifingizni bildirib, o'zingizni mahsulotingizni broshurasini qo'yib yoki qanaqadir ijtimoiy tarmoqlar nima usul bo'lsa hammasini qo'llagan holda ularga mahsulotingiz haqida ma'lumotni yetkazib berishga harakat qilsangiz yaxshi bo'ladi. Я надеюсь, я не пропустила, у меня просто интернет немножко завис.
Не, нормально, по-моему, все ответили. Спасибо большое, pardon. So I think we have like maybe time for one final question. Есть время для еще одного финального вопроса. У кого есть вопросы, пожалуйста, дайте знать.
Oxirgi savolga o'rinni beramiz. Kimning savoli bor?
While we're waiting for the final question, if any, I would like to suggest maybe we could make a group photo if people could turn on the cameras. Да, пожалуйста, кто может включить камеры, пожалуйста, включите, сделаем фото на память.
Istalik shu rasmga olmoqchimiz. Kameralar yoqib, chiroyli o'tirib olsanglar, iltimos.
Нравится, как эти chiroyli o'tirib, красиво сели все.
Да, как в школе, да?
So if when everybody ready, let's maybe smile and thank you, Christian, for your time, for like valuable advices. And now I'm making a screenshot, so let's smile. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Christian, once again. Thank you, Карина for organizing and Барно for translation. Большое всем за участие. Если нет вопросов, тогда мы на сегодня заканчиваем. If there are no more questions, then we finish for today.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and it was really an honor to talk to you. I hope I could help at least some of you with some ideas, tips and tricks and so on. If there are any questions after this call, also feel free to somehow reach out via maybe Elena. I don't know how this chain would then go, and Karina, but I'm happy to help. Just let me know, right? And I try my best. But again, thank you very much. And yeah, I wish you all the best, a lot of success with your great ideas.
Bugungi darsda yaxshi qatnashganlar uchun hammanglarga rahmat. Kelajakda qandaydir savollar bo'lsa, bemalol murojaat qilishingiz mumkin. Ishlaringizda omad tilab qolaman.
Thank you very much. Very interesting meeting we had today. Thank you.
Thank you.